London. Let's go to Harry Lowe, a developing story in East London, and we're trying to give you all views on it as it develops, or not as the case may be. Harry, what's the latest?
Afternoon, Eddie. They're actually moving the police cordon back. I just spoke to an officer here who said they're about to release something. He didn't specify what that was, but suffice to say, it's something that's required people to be asked to have their windows and doors closed. That's because there has been a gas leak here at the London Aquatics Centre here in Stratford. 200 people evacuated earlier today at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, and that's because chlorine gas was released. I can count 11 ambulances, 9 police cars and 6 fire engines, and I've seen some of the ambulances coming and going, some with their lights on. We presume those people have gone to hospital. Of course, as you might imagine, the cordon, very large, getting bigger, as I just mentioned, makes it quite difficult to speak to people and find out from those directly affected about this what actually happened.
In terms of where you are and what you can see, you say something is being released. Do you get a sense that they now have it under control? They now know what's happening? Now we're in a different stage of the investigation? What's the sense that you get?
Yeah, you're spot on there, Eddie. I think they have got things under control. There seems to be a lot of personnel here. I mean, I've lost count of the number of police officers I've seen. But yes, they do seem to have it under control. There does seem to be a calmness about the place. We've had a statement, actually, from the people who run the centre, and they've said that while we ventilate the premises, we would ask those residents in the immediate vicinity to close doors and windows. Greenwich Leisure Limited have added that the facilities management company that operates the plant room took delivery of pool chemicals. We are working to support all those affected. So it sounds like something may have gone wrong in the changeover of chemicals a little bit earlier on. But yes, I would say largely things are under control. Of course, the Mayor of London has also weighed in. He said to avoid the area and says he's in close contact with the authorities. But yes, I would say for now things are, whilst not normal, and it's a gloriously sunny day, but probably not a glorious sunny morning for those who were inside the Aquatic Centre when this happened earlier on.
Make sure you stay safe, Harry. Thanks for doing that for us.
Who's at the scene.
BBC
Harry,
London's
thanks for
Harry.
joining us. What's the situation there like at the moment?
Well, to my left, I've got the London Stadium. To the right, I've got the beautiful-looking Aquatic Centre with its curved roof, its turquoise windows, and it's glimmering in the sunlight. Unfortunately, for those who were using it earlier, it's now empty. And the reason it's empty is because of a gas leak, as we have been hearing throughout the day. The delivery of pool chemicals specifically is what caused this issue. While they were being swapped over, some of that chlorine got out, and it's meant a very, very large emergency response. I'm looking in front of me now. I counted earlier 11 ambulances, 9 police cars and 6 fire engines, as well as those incident response vehicles, which you may be familiar with, those big red ones, which seem to go on and on and on. And what would normally be a lot busier, especially on a beautiful day like this, is a very quiet scene because of these large police cordons. There's 4 police officers right in front of me here, and there's actually cordons operating on every single side, so it's actually really hard to get close to it. Obviously that's for public health reasons and to stop people from getting too close to this potentially poisonous gas. But the emergency services are gradually leaving, but there's still a very, very heavy presence here this afternoon.
And what's the reaction been to this leak?
Yeah, we've had statements from all kinds of different stakeholders, if you like. Greenwich Leisure Limited, they run the centre here, and they've said the release of gas happened when the facilities management company that operates the plant room took delivery of pool chemicals. We are working to support all those affected, they say. The London Fire Brigade, for their part, have said that while they're ventilating the premises, we would ask those residents in the immediate vicinity to close doors and windows. Sadiq Khan, the London Mayor, he's told people to avoid the area while these cordons remain in place. And we've actually just had a statement come through from the London Legacy Development Corporation, and they've confirmed that this incident took place at 10 o'clock this morning and that they're working closely with the emergency services, and they've said that there are a number of casualties which are being treated. We don't know any more on the status of those people, but colleagues of mine have spoken to 1 or 2 people, one of whom was at a swimming lesson with her daughter this morning when there was a lot of screaming, a lot of shouting and a big rush to escape. I suspect we'll be finding out more about what actually happened as the hours and days move on.
Harry, thanks for the
BBC
update.
London's
Harry Lowe, who's at the scene. Harry, what is the latest?
We've just had some figures come through from the London Ambulance Service, who say that they treated a total of 29 patients who were taken to hospital and assessed a further 48 here at the scene. They've actually all been reporting minor breathing difficulties, and they've been stood down now, the London Ambulance Service. We've also been hearing what actually happened here, and it was chlorine gas that we believe was released, as you mentioned there, and that's meant that Greenwich Leisure Limited, who run the centre, have asked people to stay away from the area. They said that this was when pool chemicals were delivered in the plant room. They say they're working to support all of those affected. A little bit earlier on, I spoke to Sean Colchis from the London Fire Brigade.
I don't think people should be concerned. The advice is best practice from us. We've got the right people here. We're used to responding to chemical incidents, and we've taken the right advice. We've got the right cordons in place, and we've deemed that is the best course of action for all those involved.
Now, there were swimming lessons taking place. There were obviously many swimmers in the pool, and we understand, having spoken to some of those coming out earlier on, that it was a bit of a scrambled, chaotic scene, as you might imagine when something like this happens. A gas leak, the London Fire Brigade said to me, is something they're trained for. It is something that does happen. I wouldn't say it happens often, were the words of Sean Colchis, who you just heard from there. The Mayor of London's told people to avoid the area. The London Legacy Development Corporation has advised people to stay clear and said that the incident started about 10 o'clock this morning. We haven't had any update from the hospitals themselves. I've been speaking to them to try and find out what the situation is with the patients who've been admitted, but understandably they're being a bit cagey on those details. But although it's a bright sunny day here in East London, it's been a pretty unpleasant one for those inside this iconic Olympic venue.
Harry, thank you very much for updating us. BBC London's Harry Lowe, who's at the